Hello everyone, welcome back to my page. Today I will be making beef stew, carne guisada. I hope you like. Okay, as you see here, the meat was still slightly frozen, but in doing this recipe it really doesn't matter too much because it's gonna boil for about an hour and a half, depending on how soft you want the meat, and I personally like it very tender. This particular meat is beef round, and it was already cut in cubes, and they were pretty big. So as you will see, I will begin to trim the meat because I really don't like the fat. And after I trim the meat, I will be cutting them in half because the pieces were quite big. Once I trim it and I cut them in half, you will see the seasoning that I will be putting in it, and it's fairly simple and it's very delicious. Now you see all the ingredients that I will be using. I'm also using Spanish olives. I will put some olive oil in the pot. Then I will be putting the meat in the pot. I know a lot of people, before they add the meat, they stir fry the sofrito, but I like it this way because it keeps some of the freshness of the sofrito. So while it's boiling, like, it infuses the meat. Oh my God, it just tastes so good. If you hear the TV in the background, my kids are in the living room watching a Christmas movie, Christmas in July, in the Hallmark Channel. I'll be putting a little bit of adobo. Some complete seasoning. It's just about 2 sprinkles around the pot. A little bit of black pepper. And remember guys, it's your kitchen, so if you like it more spicy, just add more spices. For me, this is quite enough and it ends up tasting so good. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of onion powder. Garlic powder. Some oregano. I put it in the palm of my hands and then I just crush it a little bit to release some of the flavor. Mix it all up, make sure everything is nicely seasoned. And remember, guys, this is just the way I do it. You know, everybody does things differently. What works for someone else might not literally work for me, so I adjust. But it's all good. You do in your kitchen the steps the way you want to do it. Now I'm gonna add about 3 big spoons of sofrito. And guys, this smells ridiculously good. Your house will smell so good because this is gonna boil for about an hour and a half or maybe a little longer, depending on how tender you want the meat. Mixing everything so it is all nicely seasoned. I let it cook for a little bit. Now I add the olives, and if you've noticed, I haven't added any water yet. Now I'll add about 3 tablespoons of olives. I love olives, so if you don't like olives, just omit it. A couple of bay leaves. And again, if you don't like the taste of bay leaves, then don't put it in. But I like it because it gives it a nice fresh taste. 1 packet of sazon. Now mix it all again so that everything is nicely flavored. And at this point, my stove is about a low to medium. So beautiful. Now I'll add enough water to cover the meat. After I put the water needed, I will raise the temperature on the stove a little bit, more like to medium high, and then I will wait for it to boil. As you can see, now it's boiling, and I will lower the temperature of the stove to about a 4 on my stove, which is a little less than medium, and then I will let it simmer. So it'll be between the low and the medium on a lot of stoves. And then I just let it go for about an hour and a half, maybe 2, depending on how tender you want the meat. At this point, the meat was pretty tender and the time had passed, so I added the potatoes. I will mix it. I'm gonna add about half a can of tomato sauce. I will add some more water to cover a lot of the potatoes. The bay leaf already did its job, so that's why I'm taking it out. And this is so fragrant. It's so delicious, and it smells so good, so comforting also. So as you saw, I took out the last bay leaf. I'm gonna add a little bit more water to make sure the potatoes are covered and they'll cook properly and become nice and tender. I'll move things around because at this point the meat is as tender as I want it. I just make sure that the potatoes are covered. You know, just enough to cover the potatoes. You do not want to make soup and cover and put up a lot of water. That's not good. Just do what I did, see what I'm doing, and just try to squeeze the potatoes down. At this point, I added some more black pepper, and I'm adding a little bit of salt because I just added potatoes. So remember, everything has to be seasoned. If not, it'll just end up too bland, and you don't want that. I mean, after you go through all the steps of putting a good amount of seasonings, you don't want to end up with a bland dish. So I only did a couple of sprinkles of salt. You saw that I put the rest in the sink. Now I'm squeezing a lot of the potatoes down. That's how you want your beef stew to look. You don't want to cover it as much because then you'll just end up with a very watery sauce, and you don't want that. At this point, I raised the temperature, is about on a medium, and I put the lid on, leaving a little bit out so that it starts to thicken up, but at the same time soften the potatoes. And as you can see, this at this point the sauce is still on the watery side, and I like it to become more thick, but you'll see. And remember, don't just walk away from it. You have to keep checking it because you don't want it to burn. So every now and then go back to it, uncover it, mix it again, see how the potatoes are, if they're cooked or they're not. You know, but just keep your keep your eyes on it. Now all we're waiting for is for the potatoes to become very tender. Once that's done, you're just waiting on the sauce to thicken. I will be serving this with white rice and avocado. That was my husband being nosy. There he goes again. Okay, now at this point, it is practically done. The consistency of the sauce has thickened, as you can see. It looks so beautiful. And it was delicious, if I do say so myself. Look how nice and thick. And it coats the rice perfectly. I don't like nothing too watery. That goes for chicken stew, for beans. I like my stuff on the thicker side because then it coats the rice so good. Look how beautiful that looks. And this is what you want to end up with. Look how beautiful. And the potatoes are all tender. So this is how I plated it. I hope you guys like it. Alright guys, dinner is done.
Hi, we're about to do a taste of some beef stew.
I'm ready, heavy.
With potatoes and some avocado on the side. Very hot.
How was it like?
Very good, very delicious. Oh, I love avocado. Gotta have avocado.
Y'all recommend?
Yes, we always bring.
I do that all the time. All the time.
Now remember to subscribe, like, and comment.
Share the page as well.
That's right, let people know. Alright guys, I'll see you next time. Enjoy.
We will.
Bye.